Let's go live to my colleague Graham Richardson now. And I know you're out of town, Richo, so I really appreciate you dialing in to have the chat, our last chat for 2020. What a bizarre year it's been. But you look at the media budget update and the government, the nation, you know, it's holding up pretty well.
Indeed, I think the government can look back on the year and with a bit of pride. They put money in when it was needed. Which runs counter generally to what the Liberals' philosophy is, but they changed when they needed to, and I think that's always what's important. You have to, in government, address what's in front of you, not what you wish was in front of you. And I think all in all, they've done a pretty good job at that.
Yeah, it's interesting that I put that to Josh Frydenberg, this quote that he gave Paul Kelly for his piece at the weekend in The Australian, and this was about John Howard saying, John Howard's advice to him during the crisis: during times like these, there are no ideological constraints. And Frydenberg says that support, that reassurance was important. Do you see what he's saying in that point? I mean, having a mentor like that, how crucial is it?
Oh, I think it's very important. I mean, in the Liberal Party, I think John Howard's akin to God. So if you get something like, you know, from him, it's a Sermon on the Mount, mate. You listen to it and you heed it, because one thing you've got to acknowledge: Howard's record is first class. There were two great prime ministers in the post-Menzies era, Howard and Hawke, and they both did very, very well.
Now, possibly to a future Prime Minister, I think Labor people would like so, Jim Chalmers. Today he was coming out saying that the wage issue remains the sore point in these numbers. Is he on the right track there? Because when you've got overall growth figures as strong as they are, the wage issue remains a weak point for the government and for the economy.
Yeah, it does. I mean, because you do have growth, because you do have jobs, it's not necessarily a weakness that's a killer, but it certainly is a serious one, and it's one that needs to be addressed. But, you know, I think you've got to give the government credit overall. You give them a tick for the year, but they've got some worries coming into the new year, and they have to be able to deliver. I mean, this is a good time for to be an incumbent, and that's exactly what Scott Morrison and Josh Frydenberg are demonstrating.
So from your Labor prism, those Labor rose-coloured glasses, do you see a way that Labor can be competitive and even potentially beat Morrison?
Not at the moment, no. To be honest, I think Morrison's pretty much unbeatable as we speak. But politics is never about as we speak. Politics is always about tomorrow, next week, next month and next year. And who knows what will befall us in those times. Remembering, of course, that it's not just here that matters. If there's a hiccup somewhere else in the rest of the world, then it can always affect us and affect us badly. And so Morrison's got to make sure he keeps performing. But look, he's performed really well. And that's why he's one of the hardest Liberals ever to beat. And we will not do it easily. So, you know, and you can't sit here praying for something bad to happen to the economy to give you a chance. So I think Morrison doesn't look to me like he's in for a short term. He's there for a while to come.
And when you look at the, finally, Richo, the China situation, if you're talking about clouds over the economy, that's a massive one. How will the electorate judge the government on that? Or is that just, you know, domestically, is that a lay-down misere, a political winner?
Well, it is initially a political winner, yes. But eventually, if the trade effects are negative, if Australians are struggling, we're losing jobs, then, you know, obviously it's going to have a different effect. I mean, you're pretty safe bagging the Chinese government on human rights in Australia. It's not as if you're going to get corrected. But that having been said, I think Australians have to work out where they are in this. Do we want to lead the charge or just be part of the chorus? As far as I'm concerned, the chorus is just fine. I think everything that Morrison has said was right. I'm not necessarily happy that he said it, though.
Richo, to you and the family, have a lovely Christmas. See you next year.
And to you, mate. You take care. You are one of the great stars of the network. You're on every day. You do hour after hour, and I doffs me lid. You're a champion.
You're a good man. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Let's take a break, and I'll be